Hey guys, my name's Evan and this is Sensor Sense. And this is an exciting day for me here in Dallas, Texas. There was just a news wire that was released overnight that there is a new stock exchange in the Dallas area called the TXSE, TXSE. And this is really quite extraordinary for me. I've been in the industry for over 20 years. I used to be a hedge fund trader in the early 2000s. I've traded my own accounts for 25 plus years. I've been a financial advisor for 17 years, and this is a big deal. A group of investors, including Citadel and Blackrock, have gotten together and they put together $120 million to start this new exchange that's going to be an all digital exchange, but it's going to be based in Dallas, Texas. They're going to have offices here in Dallas, and they're hoping to have their first trades by the end of 2025 and full approval by the SEC to list new companies starting as early as 2026. This is a huge deal, as you guys might know. There's been a lot of red tape, a lot of issues, and a lot of expense associated with having the New York Stock Exchange and the NASDAQ being located in New York City. As you can imagine, it's much cheaper to do business in Texas, and it's actually interesting that there are more Fortune 500 companies located in Texas than any other state in the nation. So all of this seems to make a lot of sense. I wanted to bring you guys some information about this, and I'm going to look at this Wall Street Journal article and kind of interpret it a little bit more and parse out some information that's very important and have a discussion about it for the next few minutes. So it says that a group backed by Wall Street heavyweights BlackRock and Citadel Securities is planning to start a new national stock exchange in Texas, aiming to take on what they see as an onerous regulation at the New York Stock Exchange and NASDAQ. The Texas Stock Exchange, which has raised $120 million from individuals and large investment firms, plans to file registration documents with the Securities and Exchange Commission later this year, CEO James Lee told the Wall Street Journal. The exchange is aiming to tap into the dissatisfaction with increasing compliance costs at the NASDAQ and the New York Stock Exchange, and newer rules like one setting targets for board diversity at NASDAQ. Backers of the TXSE, as it is known, pledge it will be more CEO friendly. Also behind the move is the shifting of U.S. corporate landscape, with dozens of companies moving to states with more favorable regulatory and taxation policies. Texas is now home to more Fortune 500 companies, including ExxonMobil, AT&T, and American Airlines, than the other state. Goldman Sachs broke ground last year in Dallas with its Dallas campus that it said could house more than 5,000 employees. Dallas has become one of, if not the most dominant financial centers in the country, if not in the world, Lee said. So this is very interesting. Let's talk about this for just a second. Over the years, it's become obviously much more expensive for physical property in New York, but it's also become a lot harder for regulation terms. There's been a lot more regulation, there's been a lot more cost associated with that, a lot of red tape, and a lot of companies have taken note of that. And obviously there's been a shift to the southern United States, the southeast in particular, Arizona, out of California, out of New York, places like that, and into places like Texas. And so this exchange makes a lot of sense geographically wise, and I find it really interesting. You know, Dallas is where I live now. I've lived in Austin and Dallas most of my life, and I've seen the large growth. I've seen the large amount of companies coming here, and it makes a lot of sense to have an exchange where those companies can trade that aren't all the way in New York City. I know everything's digital now, but wouldn't it be amazing to say that you're a CEO of a Texas-based company that's on a Texas exchange? I think that's pretty cool, and I want to continue on with the article now and see what else we can find. For months, talks have been swirling in the trading community about an upstart exchange launching in Texas. Lee says the exchange is apolitical. Texas will be entirely electronic. TXSE will be entirely electronic, but it plans to have a physical presence in downtown Dallas, said Lee, a Texan who has worked in finance and trading for around 3 decades. The exchange plans to compete for primary and dual listings. The TXSE also hopes to attract listings of exchange-traded products. Getting the new exchange off the ground would be no mean feat. New York Stock Exchange and NASDAQ have an effective duopoly in the U.S. corporate stock listings. Other exchanges, including IEX and CBOE global markets, have tried to break into the stock exchange business, but they have gained little traction. The long-term stock exchange, which was approved by the SEC in 2019, has 2 listings. Decades ago, there were dozens of regional stock exchanges outside of New York, but they either shut down or were acquired by larger players. The Boston Stock Exchange, the Chicago Stock Exchange, and the Philadelphia Stock Exchange are among those that were folded into the parent companies of the New York Stock Exchange and NASDAQ in the last 20 years. Attracting trading volumes to a new exchange is also challenging. Traders often direct orders to exchanges that have the greatest volume. Citadel Securities is one of the largest electronic trading firms, and BlackRock is the world's largest asset management firm. This is true. This is actually why I think this exchange has a good chance. Between Citadel and BlackRock, they'll do a lot of trading. They'll do a lot of handling of hedge fund activity, and they'll bring liquidity to the market, and that's a large concern at other stock exchanges in the past. They also have deep pockets. They've got billions of dollars that they can invest, and they can afford to lose some money to advertise as well as build this exchange. So this is, again, really exciting. Going on, it says that they account for 2 to 3% of the stock market's volume at Citadel. Upstarts also benefit from SEC's rules that effectively force large brokers to link to every exchange, even ones that have small market share, and pay for connections and market data. This isn't the first attempt to bring more financial business to the Lone Star State. Texas Governor Greg Abbott, a Republican, met with exchange officials in 2020 to pitch a move by their electronic trading centers to the state from New Jersey, which at the time was considering a tax on financial transactions. The move never materialized. The newly formed Texas business courts established an alternative to the Delaware courts of chancery system in another sign of the state's growing stature, Lee said. The courts are center stage right now as Elon Musk's Tesla holds a shareholder vote on whether to move its incorporation to Texas from Delaware. All right, I won't get into Tesla and Elon, but all of this article is very exciting. I am extremely excited living just about 10 miles north of where this exchange is going to be headquartered at. I'm actually going to reach out to them and see if I can't get some additional information at some point in the near future. But ultimately, growth in competition is good for the stock market. That's what I see here as being the most important takeaway. With big backers like Citadel and BlackRock, I think that this exchange could have legs. And I think that this is important for us in the future here in the United States. It's not fair for us to have basically a duopoly with the New York Stock Exchange and the NASDAQ. And I think that having decentralized exchanges elsewhere would be good for a lot of different reasons, for hacking attacks, for physical attacks. I mean, look at 9/11. What we had to do, we had to close the stock markets for several days. If we had an exchange somewhere like Dallas, it could give us the opportunity to trade during a major crisis. And this is all very good for competition overall. So again, my name is Evan. This is Sensor Sense. I appreciate you guys tuning in. If you like this video, please hit the like button, hit the notification bell, and subscribe. And I'll bring a lot more interesting information from my background as being a trader and a financial planner for over 20 years. Thanks for tuning in, guys. See you next time.